Hey guys, welcome to block 5 of the Cowboy Way Athlete Program. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming on this block. We'll dive in and break down every component of what we're doing and what we're focused on. Before we get into that, really love having all you guys on here. This is really cool to be able to do this. I love writing this program and helping you guys and seeing how all this progresses through. We're still running our first 4 weeks for $4. So if you got some friends who want to try it, it's 4 bones. Tell them to try it out and they can do the suffering with you. Also, we have an affiliate program still. So if you guys have a gym and you want your gym to be following some badass programming that you can do the bulk of in class and then do the extra stuff after class that we're not training alone, get on it. $50, that's it. Shoot me an email at, what the hell's my email? CrossFitPowerStroke@gmail.com or social media or any of that jazz. So anyways, here's what we're looking for. For our strength focus during block 5, yay 1 rep deadlift. So we're gonna test in with a heavy deadlift for that you'll have for the day starting next week. And that's gonna be what we kind of base everything else off of. The catch is this is gonna be a heavy deadlift based off of solid mechanics. So it won't be necessarily like a true 1 rep max. Hey, you're at a competition, you're trying to yank everything out you got off the floor, your life depends on it. This is gonna be really controlled, perfect mechanics. How heavy can you go with everything staying perfect? So we're gonna be doing very heavy deadlifting once a week. We'll be doing really low reps with this. And every other week, we'll be implementing some slow eccentric work. So that's gonna be a really, really good drill to get you guys to understand the hinging positions and obviously strengthen up that posterior chain as well using that eccentric loading. So that's our deadlifts. That's gonna be really cool. I'm excited for this. The leg strength. So we did a lot of squatting last block with a barbell. In this block, we're gonna use our Metcons and then a non-barbell variation to be our pure leg strength version. So rather than going like really heavy with squatting, like the past couple blocks we have, here we are gonna go into using this really awesome kettlebell EMOM that I've done plenty of times before. I've used it for progression and it's been great. But it's an EMOM of kettlebell front rack lunges immediately into kettlebell front rack squats. And it's a really tasty leg strength piece. So we'll be doing that every other week. And then we will be doing once a week, we're gonna have a really long Metcon, which we'll get to in the Metcon section, but using squat heavy Metcons. So lots of squatting and Metcons. And then also on some weeks that we'll be doing our barbell cycling. We'll be doing the full lift. So squat cleans and squat snatches with high rep barbell cycling. So you'll get a lot of leg strength fatigue in there. So that's what we can look forward to in our strength portion. For our weightlifting focus during this block, we're gonna be doing a lot of barbell cycling. So good news for those of you guys who are really working on trying to get comfortable cycling a heavy bar through touch and go reps. Definitely a skill that needs to be practiced, and that's what we're here to do. We're gonna do a test and implement of 5 touch and go reps for both your power snatch and your power clean. We'll be using both EMOM formats and sets and rep formats, like 4 sets of 5 touch and go with X load or whatever. We'll also be using the full lift variation, so full squat clean and squat snatch, but our more test-in versions will be this touch and go and the powers. And that's kind of what you can expect here. We'll be working on a lot of keeping the barbell close, maintaining your stabilization, keeping your air throughout the lift, where do you breathe, how to regain the hook grip, and so on and so forth. In our gymnastics portion, we are going to be doing lots of advanced kipping pulling. So whatever that means to you, kind of that next step on the ladder that you don't quite have yet, or that you don't have super consistently, we're gonna be working on refining that movement. So something we'll be using as a test in of a 7-minute max reps of whatever that version is for you. So whether that's weighted ring muscle ups, bar muscle ups, chest to bar, regular pull-ups, banded pull-ups, whatever that version is, and that'll obviously be laid out for you what version you should do. But this is gonna be a relatively low volume set that we're working on a very high version of your skill. So this is gonna be a great time to refine that next step of your pull-ups, muscle-ups, whatever. These will be alternating weeks. So 1 week's gonna be a big pull-up focused session. The next week we'll have a big handstand walk focused session. And then throughout the week, we'll be alternating back and forth into additional work with refining on these. So you'll see these each week, no matter what, but just the big focus will be alternating weeks. So the next thing is handstand walking, and we're gonna test in with a 5-minute max distance handstand walk set up in 5-foot increments. Some people can handstand walk, lots of people can't. So this is a great time to be able to start to take the intensity out, not in a Metcon, and really focus on getting the handstand walking skills correct and practicing them. So we can do things if you can't handstand walk yet, like handstand shoulder taps, lateral wall shuffles, static holds, box pivots, handstand wall starts. There's all sorts of different versions that I'll have laid out for you guys that will help you progress to getting your handstand walking. As our Metcon focus during this block, we will be doing one long Metcon. When I say long, I mean like in the realm of 30 minutes, maybe even 40 minutes. Long Metcon, somewhere between 25 and 40 minutes every other week. So as we do this, we're going to be implementing a lot of high volume squatting on the weeks that we're not doing our big kettlebell strength cycle that we'll be going on for our squatting and lunging patterns. So high volume squatting as well as high skill movements that we're really going to integrate into these Metcons. So whether that be handstand push-ups, pistols, double unders, box clear overs, chest to bar, muscle ups, ring dips, you name it. So some sort of high skill movement that we'll be accumulating a lot of volume with. So this is going to be volume tolerance, this is going to be practice under fatigue, and this is going to be a lot of leg strength, obviously, with that aerobic implement that's laying behind that the whole way. The next thing we're going to do, so these are both going to alternate weeks. So one week's going to be one of these big long ones, and then one of these every 1 week will be one of these guys. So the high intensity monostructural intervals. This could be something like for next week, spoiler alert, you've got one that's every 3 minutes for 5 sets of 60 seconds at a 9 RPE on the Echo bike, and then obviously 2 minutes of rest. So when we're doing these intervals, they're not going to be dead sprint intervals. So it's not the same as if we're doing, a 20-second max effort bike and you're going like full send the whole time. This is going to be at a more even keel pace. So you're not going to ramp up your RPMs to 110 and then die. Okay, this should be, let's say in this set, your goal would be like, hey, maybe I start out at 85 RPMs, I pecker off a little bit to 80 RPMs, but I'm holding a very consistent effort throughout the interval for that entire 60 seconds. So that's going to be our kind of focus on our in the Metcons, is one really long one, and then we're using all that stuff, and then one really high intensity interval piece using just one pure monostructural movement. So we'll alternate between row, bike, and run here. Yeah, that's our Metcons. All right, and our final piece for the block that we'll go over is our monostructural. This is something to where, it's not the most exciting thing ever, but this is the shit that really drives home the fitness. So this is the base of our sport. We are an endurance sport. So this might not be the sexiest thing you've ever seen. We do this every week. I don't think we've ever stopped doing this during our blocks. You always want to keep up on this long, slow aerobic efforts that are heart rate based with, somewhere in between the realm of like 130 and 145. That is so important. I know there's a turning point for me in my fitness when I started taking this seriously and doing it. And honestly, it's one of my favorite pieces to do. Kind of zone out, clear your head, listen to some music, listen to podcasts, whatever. But get a heart rate monitor if you haven't gotten one yet. They're relatively cheap. You can get them for like $50 on Polar. But yeah, we're gonna keep on that one time a week. So don't skip this shit. Do it. I promise you will benefit like way more than you expect. And then the high intensity intervals that we talked about just a little bit ago in the Metcon. So in like the main Metcon, the meat work of the day, one of those every other week is gonna be in there, and we touched on that. So can't stress it enough. Don't skip this shit. Don't be a slacker. Do it. Okay guys, that is what we're going to be focusing on during this block. So that doesn't mean that like when I lay out the strength of the Metcons and weightlifting, that's not the only thing we're going to be doing with those implements. That's just the main focus that I have written out progressions for. As a reminder, listen to your body. If you do this entire program from start to finish every single day, it's a pretty damn competitive program, and that's gonna take a lot of work. You have to build up to that. So items that are labeled with words, i.e. warm-up, weightlifting, gymnastic, Metcon, strength, that shit, do it. I've got that designed to where everybody should be able to hit the things that are labeled with words every day. Thursdays are a much lighter intensity day. So I have this all planned out so you can train 6 days a week. The items that are labeled with letters, A, B, C, and so on, those do based on your weaknesses and how your body feels. So if you're feeling like a freaking train wreck and you're just absolutely worked, do the main meat of the work, the main program, and then cut it there. If you get done with the main meat of the program, like I'm feeling pretty fucking good, then start jumping in onto the ABC and whatnot based on what you need to get. So that's all I got for you guys. Let me know if you need anything. Shoot me an email, social media, whatever. Other than that, see you guys in the gym.